February 1945. The war in Europe was drawing to a close, but in the Pacific, a new kind of hell was about to begin. The target was a desolate, sulfurous volcanic rock, only 8 square miles large, Iwo Jima. For the American military, Iwo Jima was vital. Its airfields were the perfect staging ground for the massive B-29 superfortress raids targeting the Japanese mainland. To save the lives of American air crews, this island had to be taken. The U.S. Marines, America's elite fighting force, were promised a quick job. 3 days, maybe 4. What they received was a planned slaughter. The Japanese garrison, led by General Tadamichi Kuribayashi, did not plan to defend the beaches. They planned to die on the island, taking as many Americans with them as possible. They spent months building the most ingenious and deadly defensive network in history. Miles of hidden tunnels, concrete bunkers, and interlocking fields of fire that turned the island into one massive subterranean fortress. The American advantage in naval and air bombardment was rendered almost useless against an enemy that lived and fought underground. The battle began with the largest pre-invasion bombardment of the Pacific War. The American command believed they had pounded the island into submission. They were tragically wrong. On February 19th, the first waves of Marines hit the beaches. The black volcanic sand was so soft, vehicles immediately became bogged down, creating a logistical nightmare. For hours, the Japanese remained silent. Then, on a hidden signal, all hell broke loose. The Marines were pinned down on the beach, being methodically shredded by machine gun and mortar fire coming from invisible pillboxes and caves. This was a new kind of warfare for the Americans. The Japanese rarely fought above ground. Every yard of Iwo Jima had to be taken with grenades, flamethrowers, and sheer brute force, clearing tunnels where resistance could pop up behind the lines at any moment. The casualty rate was shocking. On the 3rd day alone, over 2,400 Marines were killed or wounded. The American flag, the symbol of hope, was being raised over a mountain of dead. The iconic photo of the 6 Marines raising the flag on Mount Suribachi became the defining image of the Pacific War, a symbol of American grit and final victory. It was immediately seized by the American government for propaganda purposes, used to sell war bonds and rally support. But the shocking, uncut truth behind that photo is rarely told. The first flag raising was a small event. The famous photo was of a second flag raising, staged for better visibility and photographic effect. More importantly, the battle was far from over. The heaviest, most savage fighting took place in the weeks after the flag went up, in the northern plateaus. General Kuribayashi's soldiers fought to the last man. Of the nearly 21,000 Japanese defenders, only 216 were taken prisoner. The rest died fighting or committed ritual suicide. The price for the Americans was the highest in Marine Corps history. Nearly 7,000 Americans killed and over 19,000 wounded. Iwo Jima was the only battle in the entire Pacific War where American casualties exceeded Japanese casualties. This grim fact revealed the extreme depth of Japanese resolve and the terrifying reality of what awaited the Allies when they finally invaded the Japanese home islands. The veterans who fought at Iwo Jima carried deep, permanent scars. They were not fighting men who surrendered. They were fighting men committed to death, which created a unique psychological toll. The battle lasted 36 grueling days. The cost was immense, but the strategic value was undeniable. The airfields taken on Iwo Jima saved the lives of nearly 25,000 American airmen, who, damaged by anti-aircraft fire, were able to make emergency landings on the island instead of crashing into the ocean. The legacy of Iwo Jima is complex. It is a story of unparalleled marine courage, but also a stark, uncompromising look at the brutality of the Pacific War. It demonstrated that American will could overcome any obstacle, but only at a price that almost bankrupted the nation's supply of young men. The true price of that flag, and the sacrifices made beneath it, can only be understood when we strip away the propaganda and face the uncut reality of the beaches of blood. This has been War Stories Uncut. Subscribe now and hit the bell.